Even before the Black Monday catastrophe, the United States of America have been in a long economic decline. As is always the case, economic instability breeds political extremism. Lacking a unifying figure, like the Kaiser, there are those who would like to continue the experiment of democracy, hoping that the consensus will prevail in improving everyone's life in the end, while keeping more radical ideas in check. Then there are those who subscribe to communist and, more recently, syndicalist ideals of destroying the state and putting the country's future in the hands of workers and farmers. They're led by one John Silas Reed, a former journalist turned radical activist in revolutionary Bolshevist Russia. Disillusioned with the outcome of the old communist ideals, he's turned to the trade union-led gangs of revolutionaries leading the combined syndicates of America, who want nothing less than the violent overthrow of the elected government and eventually force their system across the whole world. On the other side of the spectrum, there's a curious group of militias, ostensibly fighting for socialist, anti-capitalist ideals like massive taxes on the wealthy to feed the poor, mixed with more fascist ideology of paramilitarism as well as southern white supremacism. They're led by one Huey Long, a radical socialist demagogue who, just like Reed, has become disillusioned with the system and wants to consolidate power over the country on himself. Now that the country has devolved into civil war, we must ask ourselves, which side do we support? The United States may be shattered today, yet they remain a sleeping giant with endless natural resources, a huge pool of manpower, and a strong strategic position guarded by two oceans. Reed is out of the question. The syndicalist menace has to be stopped at all costs, and American support for their world revolution would be the worst possible outcome. This leaves us with Long or MacArthur. Long's ideas are not actually that far from von Schleicher's. He's like an unrefined brush peasant variant of the Chancellor, ruthless in his allegiances and focused on saving his nation on his own term. While he would make a valuable ally, who is to say how far his ambition goes? Would a strong United States be content to join the Reichspakt under German leadership, or would they inevitably challenge us in the end? The safer option is MacArthur, who stands for the restoration of the old system. In the end, our goal should be a United States that are as much as possible internally divided and thus weakened, preventing them from challenging the leadership of the German Empire. And having someone like MacArthur in our moral debt might not bring the short-term benefits of a potential alliance with the like-minded Long and his America First party, but a safer choice down the road. April 1937. It's time for a bit of tactical analysis and reflection. So, a lot of you have left helpful comments, and one in particular mentioned that we should really be dealing with the Pacific states as soon as possible. So there are two possibilities that there are several possibilities that we have. The American Union state, as I said in the intro, we are going to be supporting the United States of America. Now, I am aware that this will not lead to the USA joining the Reichspakt, but I think this is the right decision, because I feel like supporting the American Union state is not something that von Schleicher would necessarily do. He's many things, but a white supremacist he isn't. So in that regard, we'll probably have to shift the focus, and I mean, we just have 4 infantry divisions here. We'll have to shift our focus of these 4 infantry divisions to clear out the Pacific states first, such that we can get all the divisions that are currently in the West realigned towards the syndicalist threat, really, what it is, and it leaves the Union state and the syndicalists fighting each other as well, which is a good thing. So I might actually, I have a chance here of destroying some of the Union state divisions in the south, and I might take that, or just so we can take Houston. I don't know when we have Houston, but just so we can secure Houston here, and make sure they're not pushing any further. And then we'll relocate. Now, where do we relocate is a different question. Ideally, we would take Sacramento. The problem is there's no supply in the north. So we're definitely not going to be hitting Sacramento directly because we just don't have the supply to get across fortified mountain lines here. However, if we are looking at the supply lines, the best path possibly to take is through the southern corridor. We do have a supply position here. So from Arizona, we could push south towards San Diego, LA, and then roll up south of the mountains towards San Francisco along the coastline, destroy everything in between, and then try to take Sacramento. And from there, then push north towards Portland and Seattle and hope that they can hold in the east against the syndicalists in the meantime. Now, do I want to spend another week destroying these divisions here in the south? It's a tough call. I would like Houston to be secured, and I think that's something I'll do just to make sure that we're holding the river line here, and that gives us a better defensive position. And then I'll relocate here. So that's one thing that we need to do. In the Spanish Civil War, the biggest problem right now is this gap here. So the Spanish forces and the Spanish don't have the forces to hold the full front line, which means we have, unfortunately, some of our foreign troops here concentrated in the east, trying to deal with the syndicalists, but not getting anywhere. So what I'll try to do, and I'm not sure if we can win this, because the Spanish forces are really just decimated at this point. The Carlists are holding the north. The primary goal is that the syndicalists do not win. So what I'll do is I'll try to fall back after the abortive attack on Madrid, because the Spanish have left the right flank completely open, and they're breaking through here. What I'll try to do is I'll try to stabilize the right flank, and then push into the rear, support the other foreign troops here, and we'll see if we can finish off the syndicalists. And if the Carlists can be held back by the Spanish, then good. But otherwise, we'll see what we can do. What we can still achieve, as long as the syndicalists don't win. I think that's mission complete. The other things that I would say we have realized at this point is that our divisions are not great. They were okay in the First World War, but I definitely want to have artillery in my infantry. The problem is that costs 25 experience, which I don't have, and as things go right now, due to the spirits, isn't going to get there anytime soon. The Panzer Division needs to be improved as well. So one thing we could do with 10 army experience, which we're about to reach, we could throw the support artillery into the tank divisions, which gives them a bit more firepower at the cost of some of their armor. But I don't think anybody has enough piercing at this point to make that happen. So that would be something we could do just to help Spain out a bit. And we are involved in the Bulgarian war against the Belgrade Pact. We haven't gotten anywhere in Greece, so I'm abandoning the lines here, and we'll try to push into Serbia and see if we can finish off Serbia, free up some troops here, and that might be the easier target, given that Greece is the mountain positions here in Greece are just too hard to take, and the north is going to be difficult as well if we wanted to push into Romania. So we'll stick with that for now. We'll try to help out in Serbia, but we do need to do something about the experience situation, which is just abysmal. So I'm going to go with the regime of the Red General, which gives me 100 political power and 10% stability, because that allows me to get off the civilian economy, which we really need to go. Interestingly enough, the economic laws are actually stacked here. As far as I remember, they should all be 150. So I would love to go to partial mobilization, but we can't easily do that because the mod rules are Kaiserreich rules are slightly different. So we can get from a civilian economy into early mobilization, and that gives us 20% construction speed. So and 5% consumer goods factories, And then if we have another 150, we can make it up to partial mobilization. But I also desperately need to start filling out the military high command, which I can't do because we're not getting any command power. And that's due to the victors of the Weltkrieg basically preventing that, more or less. So after the regime of the Red General, we still have to fill up these two, but I think we are going to do Yearning for Kane, because that is one of the focuses which is going to get us, which is going to reduce that somewhat, and we are now embroiled in 3 civil wars. I really need to start gathering some experience, and that'll really help spiral that up. So much for the tactical situation. So for now, my biggest focus is to retreat from this position. Then we'll try to cut east, cut off and destroy some of the troops here, and then try to push into the syndicalists and at least finish these off. And as soon as we are complete here and we've secured Houston, then we'll head over towards the position and we'll try. We do have the supply hub north here, so we'll try to push along the supply lines towards San Diego. And we actually have a field marshal available, so I'm going to, let's see, who needs a field marshal? The US Expeditionary Force and the I mean, we technically don't need anybody right now, so we don't need anyone right now in the Asian theater or in the European theater, because we're not actually fighting anywhere. So let's assign some field marshals. The Bulgarian Expeditionary Force needs a field marshal for the army group, and we have Follad Bockelberg available, so he may as well go. And the federal volunteers obviously need a field marshal. So right now, let's see, who do we have on the Spanish front? On the Spanish front, we have Kurt von Hammerstein-Equord, and on the Bulgarian front, we now have Follad Bockelberg. So the federal volunteers are going to get, who do we have? Follad Bockelberg, we've got von Rundstedt available. So we may as well, yeah. Let's get von Rundstedt assigned to the federal volunteers. So that's done. My air force right now is still. Where are we going to be fighting? In which air zone? We are going to be fighting in the Eastern Iberian air zone, where there's currently nobody operational. So we can move the planes over and have them clear out the Eastern Iberia zone. Where does my other air wing is in Bulgaria. So what are the air zones looking like? Southern Balkans, not so great. We are contesting Greece, but since we're not fighting there, that air wing might actually be better suited to help in the US. What is the air situation looking like? Yeah, not great. 200 enemy fighters, not something we can easily contest. But we might be able to help out here more than we are in Bulgaria. So I think I'm going to send the first Jagdgeschwader over to Houston for now, and have them help out on the American front. Okay, so the troops in the Americas are just going to clear out and secure Houston for now, and that means our priority at the moment is Spain. No pain, no Spain. So we'll retreat here, try to regain some supply. The biggest problem is that they're holding the supply hub here, but we might be able to cut them off if we are lucky. We just need to get the retreat done. Okay, so the mountaineers have managed to retreat, so we'll immediately try to cut off the troops near the supply position, while the tanks are still trying to get across the river line. And we will just have to play it more flexible and more as a we've got air superiority now over Eastern Iberia. We'll just have to play it more flexible and more. Okay, tanks are rolling in as well. So hopefully we'll need to secure the south though. So let's get the tanks to secure the south while we are trying to cut them off in the north, and hope that our, what is this, hill terrain, so the mountaineers are probably the better suited to deal with that anyway. Okay, now they have the south secured. Okay, let's concentrate the push and try to cut them off here and destroy this position. And well, I will shorten the front line significantly because that's where we are fighting right now. Okay, so we'll try to cut them off, retake the position in the south, and retake the supply up here, which is vital, and then push east, trying to destroy some of the forces there. And okay, yeah, we have to hold the river line. I'll send one tank division back. Because the Spanish are now again abandoning the front lines. They have managed to encircle somebody here, which is good. But of course, immediately, yes, they have abandoned the front lines. Okay, well, forward it is. Okay, Spain, please hold. Please try to hold. While we are trying desperately, again, we are out of supply. We're trying desperately to cut off this one division here. The movement of March the 3rd. A meeting by the coffee table in Berlin soon escalated into something more. Connections pulling on connections. And in the end, Kurt Schumacher and Theodor Haubach, joined by members of the LVP such as Hans Robinson, Ernst Strassmann and Heinrich Landau, have established the so-called Club of March the 3rd, named after the date of the promulgation of the March reforms to the imperial constitution. It refers to its goals with said name alone, the defense of the March reforms against what is perceived as encroaching reactionary rule. Though the club professes to be a non-violent organization that seeks to use public pressure in order to force the regime to reconsider its moves, who are you calling a regime, we can pierce through the veil and recognize what this movement truly is. The pervasive influence of traitors, perhaps even syndicalist and Russian-funded, runs deep, and it's likely that the club's wide contacts with fellow Social Democrats, liberals and trade unionists will allow it to organize numerous actions of protest through the following years. Perhaps, if we escalate our crackdown on the Social Democrats, however, their influence can be broken in the long term. This is going to cost us 25 political power and 2% base stability. That hurts because we'll have enough we'll gain the political power again, but I really need it, and I could really do without the loss of stability. But so what's really happening is the left, the moderate left is radicalizing because they perceive von Schleicher as a reactionary, so somebody who wants to bring back the rule of the previous. And well, that is not quite true, because Schleicher is the Red General after all. He is trying to unify everybody. The big problem is the world is on fire, and Germany is no longer going to be at the head of and the Reichspakt is no longer going to be at the head of the world very soon, because the syndicalist menace is already spreading. The French, the British, now the Norwegians, potentially some Americans, and attempts in Spain, and potentially Russia coming in as well. The Reichspakt is being threatened, so we really can't be having with this right now. And unfortunately, these people don't understand that in times of dire need, there may be a necessity to suspend this kind of animosity and pick it up again after we're done with everything. Anyway, back on topic, we are without very much supply trying to break this Spanish position here, or this Carlist position here, and I am going to have to divert one tank division to pin them in the south, just to make sure that they are not, just because the tanks have higher endurance, to make sure they are not getting out of there. Let's have a quick look what the situation here is looking like. Troops are in place now. So what is that looking like? I think we can manage to. This is all hilly terrain, but maybe we can just push north and cut them off push north towards Belgrade and try to cut them off. So let's do that. Let's see if we can manage to... let's get these divisions north and these divisions north as well. Let's see if we can make a bit of a difference here and join the fight. That is already going on the other side. Meanwhile, in Spain, okay, I have to have a quick look at the Americans and how that looks. Okay, we are almost through here, but we are attacking across the river, which isn't ideal. But I can probably... Okay, we've actually got space up in the north. Okay, well, we're almost through anyway. So, because we're only engaging with 2 divisions, which is less than ideal. But then we'll move west and try to deal with the other side. How is the air situation here? We actually have aerial superiority, but my planes, I think, are still en route. So we'll just secure Houston. Almost done there. Back to Spain, and we will see if we can manage a small victory, which is kind of all we can at this point. The tanks are almost exhausted here in the south, so we will have to stop and use the other tank division for the pinning attack while these tanks are going to recover. I'm already going to send them south, just to have them resupply a little bit. And as the Spanish are now attacking as well. Okay, so we can refocus the tanks in the north, and I should be getting somebody to join here reasonably quickly. Okay, and they have no. Never mind. Spain has immediately stopped their assault, which means they are now reinforcing. Yeah, that was inevitable. So we'll leave that 1 tank division here, let it recover a little bit, and then add that back in again immediately. We really need to. I really want to get these to get these cut off here if possible, but they're not making it easy for me, the Spanish. They really aren't. How is this looking? We're pushing forward, and we should have air. Yes, we have air superiority, but of course now one of the divisions has reinforced there. 10th International Congress. The 9th Congress of the 3rd International dealt with spreading the ideology overseas. Yes, which as we can see, they have definitely been doing. Supporting socialist movements and strengthening the ties between existing socialist nations. And thanks to the gathering success, the 10th International Congress has been called to be held in London. Representatives from the entire world were greeted by a British artillery salute, a Scottish bagpipe chorus, and an overall warm reception. As Europe rolls closer and closer to war, military and economic cooperation between the socialists is expected to be the primary topic of discussion, and France and Britain will once again call the shots on the international's policy. I am not a fan. Hopefully they can hold in the south. If we're cut off here, we'll be in big trouble. So we'll have to keep a close eye to see if they can hold in the south here. And if we can manage to break the Spanish in the north, that would be grand. But they have now reinforced, so of course this is all going to take longer now. But as long as they're holding in the south, I think we can stabilize this somewhat, and hopefully try to we'll still try. I don't know. They're probably going to retreat north, but we'll still try to retake the position here, at least the supply hub. Not sure if they can even manage to deal with these encircled divisions here. We are definitely struggling to get them out. Okay, that's one. We still have area superiority, but our troops are exhausted and out of supply. This would be vital that we take this position. At worst case, we'll not. Yeah, they're retreating north. If we can take it, it's good. Otherwise, we'll retake the supply hub, and then reorganize ourselves from there. Yeah, they're breaking through everywhere along the lines here. The Carlists are pushing, and they're now counter-attacking here as well. So let's see if we can at least manage to get these Canadian divisions, this Canadian division cut off. That would be good. Dispersed 2 is finished, so this is way ahead of time at this point. I think we are not. No, we're not spoiling for material at this stage. So let's see what we can get our research in. This is still slightly ahead of time. Not really in need of any of these. We could get the trains out of the way. Tank research is up to date. Artillery research is up to date. Air research. We might actually. I think I'm just going to get the basic fire control systems out of the way, although I don't need it. Yeah, I don't need it. I'm kind of hesitant to do the air research because it's going to slow down my... It's going to be slowing down my political power gain even more, but then again, we are going to need it eventually anyway, so let's get the photo reconnaissance done, just so we can build recon aircraft at some point. So what do we have? Dornier. I think we've been using Dornier quite a bit, or we could use Siemens Schuckert. Okay, Siemens Schuckert is more for multi-role, so that is actually not going to be a terrible designer for things like CAS. So we might as well start building that up, while Dornier's more for the medium bombers, and I am going to need CAS down the road, so I just don't have the air XP to do anything right now. So let's go with Siemens Schuckert and start building up a bit of experience. I generally prefer to concentrate these, but in this particular case I'm going to make an exception. Okay, so we'll finish this. We're almost done here, and once these divisions are destroyed, then and I think the United States are doing pretty good there by themselves. Once these divisions are destroyed, then I'm going to head over to the front here, and we'll see if we can manage to push. Actually, in the north here would be more ideal. Where's supply? Here's supply. Yeah, we could. I think we're just gonna go north here, and then try to cut through towards LA. And make that happen. How is it looking in fighting? Fighting at 3 fronts is quite fun indeed. We'll push towards Belgrade and see if we can cut them off in the east here, and we'll see how that goes. Spain is my concern at this point. I've got 50 days. I just need to keep an eye on that. I haven't done anything future of the army just yet, so that's still waiting. I'm not going to funnel any more army XP into Gateway to the Atlantic, but I might. The British already have 95 points. They've been catching up, have they? Okay, so we are going to. What do we have here? Oh, political instability. Okay, so 323 days is it's going to be decided. So we do have to. We're going to send out equip the IRA and see that we can help. We definitely need to spend some effort here. We can't just leave it be. So okay, let's see if we can manage to. What is this now? National Protection Alliance declared war on the Liangguang clique. That's in China. Honestly, China, you're on your own. I don't have time for this. German East Asia is completely and utterly stuck. But it looks like, oh, these guys, as long as they're not syndicalist. No, they're not syndicalist. In that case, I'll leave you to it, and you decide who you want your leaders to be. Okay, let's see if we can make any kind of headway in the Spanish mess that we are in. I think, yeah, they are losing in the south here. Okay, abandon this, and we need to. Okay, let them go. We need to retake the supply hub because otherwise we're at risk of being cut off here. Otherwise, we need to take the supply hub, resupply, and then try to make something happening in the east. Meanwhile, the Panama Canal crisis. Finished in 1914, the Panama Canal is one of the most important trade passageways on the American continent, controlled by the United States until now. With the outbreak of the Second American Civil War, the federal government was forced to withdraw the canal's maritime forces leaving it open to invasion, and to little surprises, Panamanian troops launched an operation to take back such a valuable area. This move, however, was opposed by Canada, which presented to them an ultimatum attempting to guarantee the continued security and of and access through the canal. Though heavily outmatched in both industry and men, Panama refused to back down, calling Canada's bluff, and to the surprise of many, succeeding. To the Entente's embarrassment and Panama's pride, crisis has been averted. Has it? So Panama has taken over the canal. That is actually not a problem for me, because, the Americans can't send ships through into the Pacific, but not my problem. Okay, we're going to retake this position near Houston. Actually, they're doing that themselves, so that's fine. We don't have to take it. Let's position ourselves here. And we are going to try and push towards Los Angeles. So get my divisions to move. Please try to take the train if you can, because otherwise this is going to take absolutely forever. And I will try to get you there via railroad if at all humanly possible. Spain. We do need to break out here. Oh, what now? Okay. Is this meant to happen? Hungary has severed the last of its ties with Middle Europa today. The government has chosen to leave our sphere of influence, citing the exploitative nature of the customs union. Any designs we might have had towards their country have to be abandoned for the time being. Traitors indeed. Hungary's be removed and gets, we are angry with the government. Traitors indeed. So Austria-Hungary, or the Austrian Empire, which is no longer Austria-Hungary, has now declared war on Hungary. Sheesh. So we are very much not in favor of Hungary, and we are very much in favor of the Austrian Empire. Everything is falling apart, isn't it? And I think we are, we're not getting anywhere quickly, but that's because the events are just happening in such rapid succession. So the actual fighting has to take a back seat because so many things are happening. But yeah, we've got the Balkans fractured even more now. The Austrian-Hungarian Empire has fallen apart. Austria has 16 to 46 divisions. Hungary, they're pretty evenly matched, I'd say. So this is going to get interesting, actually. And this is getting even worse. At least we've got Bulgaria on our side at this point. So hopefully, do we have to support Austria in this? We could send volunteers to Austria, to Austria-Hungary, to Austria to retake Hungary, or we could send volunteers to Hungary to overtake Austria. But honestly, Hungary, I am not in favor of you. We're still trying to support this decision here. But sheesh. Okay, yeah, everything's falling apart, and I'm going to have to tread rather carefully because I think I've got the feeling if I mess anything up, then this will be to future detriment. So, plan going forward. Try to salvage what we can in the Spanish situation, which I don't think is going to be much. Honestly, I think Spain is doomed. But I'll try at least to I'll try to take the syndicalists out. We'll retake the position here, and we'll see if we can manage to get small engagements with the supply, that we can get small engagements of destroying syndicalist forces, and from there on out we are we'll try to push towards Barcelona and see if they can hold Sevilla before we finish. Otherwise, if the Carlists take over, then so be it. Troops are moving Troops are moving towards the west coast, and I will try to get them to use the railways if possible. So I think they're just somewhere in the sticks. So as soon as we have them actually somewhere where there is a railway connection, or probably because we don't have the position here. So in that case, let's just clear this and then take the railroad from Houston, because that's going to be faster than moving there on foot. And that's all going to be happening in the next episode. Things are not going well in general, I feel. But that might just be how everything works here. But yeah, look at that mess.